Say dynamic,
Dynamic
black,
Black
fatherhood,
Fatherhood
manifesto.
Manifesto.
Fellas, happy to announce that my new book, Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, is currently available on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle form. 10 key areas that we as dynamic black fathers need to commit to ensure that our kids, our families, our communities move in the right direction with us sitting in the leadership position. But ladies, this is for you as well, because guess what? There is a dynamic black fatherhood support manifesto attached to the book itself. So we need your support. So definitely this is for ladies as well. Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto. Y'all grab a copy now on Amazon. Peace.
Daddy.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now. And today we have a unique and awesome episode. This is the episode in which I introduce to you all the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, my new book. Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, currently available on Amazon. But what I wanted to kind of jump into is a little backstory on the manifesto. And long story short, this book came together relatively quickly, but it was actually a long time in the making. And let me explain why. Back in February, there was an evangelist, Billy Graham, passed away. And, you know, I was at home working on the computer and the TV was on in the background. And it was like, I think the day that it happened, it was just all kind of coverage on all the different channels about Billy Graham dying and, you know, and all of this kind of stuff. But when I was on my computer and working and looking kind of casually at what was going on the television, something popped up, and it was this thing called the Modesto Manifesto. And so and nothing was really said about it, but it just kind of scrolled through and something about the Modesto Manifesto popped. And it caused me to want to look into what the Modesto Manifesto was. So I was on the computer already. So then I started looking into it, and I came to find out that what ended up happening back in, I believe, the 1950s or something, you all can check out the specifics on it. But what ended up happening was Billy Graham and a few of his like preacher friends or other prominent, you know, religious figures in the Christian community, they actually either went on a retreat or went on a trip together, and they stayed in Modesto, California. And one of the things that they discussed at the time was, you know, they were talking about, or they were in communication about, what were some of the things or what were some of the issues that proved to be the downfall of religious leaders of the past. So each one of the guys that were there went to their own respective rooms, and they all formulated a list of different things that were considered to be the downfall of, you know, religious leaders of the past. And there were a lot of common themes that they came up with. When they came back together, they found different things that were legitimately on everyone's list that were kind of the catalyst to the downfall of religious leaders of the past. I mean, a lot of the topics, and you can look into it and research it yourself, but, you know, a lot of topics were revolving, you know, relationships or, you know, affairs or things with money or, you know, all of that. And so these facts or these things that proved to be the downfall of religious leaders of the past, they then put together into a pact or a manifesto that they would hold each other accountable to help avoid those same pitfalls. And so I think I was reading somewhere that, like, Billy Graham never had a meeting with a female without someone else or a witness being present, or he never rode in the car with one that was not his wife without someone else being present. Like little things like that were included in their manifesto, but it was a thing in which he and these other guys had kind of like a system of accountability to allow them to have the impact going forward in the world, in the Christian world, so to speak. And so I saw that, and immediately it made me think about Black fatherhood. It made me think about Black men, and it made me think about our community in a sense that do we have, a set of principles or set of concepts that we can hold each other accountable to, that we can serve as our brother's keeper, that we can kind of serve, that can kind of serve as, a way for us to, grow, develop, avoid the pitfalls, that maybe some of our, the folks before us, fell victim to, but just to be better going forward. But then it allows us to create this public sense of accountability in which we all hold each other accountable going forward. And it just made me think about that and thinking about applying it to my own community, and that community being, that of, Black men and Black fathers. And so that's what got the wheels turning with the concept of the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto. And see, I have a private Facebook group called Dynamic Black Fathers Current and Future. And I actually posed the question in there the day that this idea popped in my head after kind of looking into the Modesto Manifesto. And I asked some of the brothers if they would be interested in compiling, a manifesto. And there was a little bit of feedback there, and, folks are interested, but it wasn't anyone who just jumped at the opportunity to create it. So then after a few comments, I was just like, you know what? Forget it. This is something I'm going to put together. And so long story short, that was the birth of the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto. And what ended up happening was I took a lot of the, I synthesized some of the information from, previous podcast guests from, Black Fathers Now, and various conversations and various insights from, other brothers. I utilized that to think about concepts that we need to hold ourselves accountable to so that we can grow and develop as Black men, as Black fathers, as leaders in our houses, our household, as well as leaders in the community and leaders in the country and leaders in the world. And so, so that in itself helped to formulate the basis for the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto. And I said that to say this. I know some people might say, like, how do you find inspiration for Black fatherhood from the death of Billy Graham? And my whole thing is, if you're open to seeing opportunity, if you're open to recognizing opportunities, as they present themselves, you will find them and you'll see opportunities, and sometimes the oddest places. And so that's a level of inspiration to a brother to don't discredit a source, because you never know the inspiration that may come from that source, even though there's no direct correlation or direct connection from that source to the subject matter that you're thinking about, talking about, or exploring. So be open to opportunities no matter where they're coming from. But jumping into the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, these are the 10 points. And the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto is all about, things that we as Black men should commit to as dynamic Black fathers. And so basically being committed to optimizing our finances, being committed to continuously nurturing our interpersonal relationships, being committed to developing effective communication skills, being committed to confidently believing in ourselves, being committed to continuous mental, physical, and emotional development, being committed to traveling and exposing ourselves and our families to new ideas and experiences, being committed to giving our resources, expertise, and time to others, being committed to being truthful and living with integrity, being committed to embracing the changes in life, and then being committed to spending time getting to know ourselves, our history, our issues, our gifts, and our talents. And most importantly, being committed to being in the lives of our children no matter what. So those are the 10 points to the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto that and I'd encourage each and every one of you all to go to Amazon and grab a copy via paperback or, via Kindle and take a look at it and, internalize the information, share the information, open up dialogue with various brothers, and just create this community of accountability. But I also want to say that this is also for those women who are connected to dynamic black men or dynamic black fathers. So women, ladies, I know some of y'all are listening. This is actually for you all as well, because in addition to the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, there's also the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Support Manifesto, and the manifestos are actually embedded in the book itself for you to sign, date, snap a picture of, and share via social media. But the Support Manifesto is all about those women attached to us supporting us in achieving the 10 points of the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto. It's all about this village. We have a village that we have to maintain here. And so to that point, it takes a village for us to grow and develop. We hear the proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. But, we tend to omit at times that it also, for every strong and successful adult, there's a village behind them as well. There's a community behind them as well. And ladies, you are our community. And so to that point, we need you for us to achieve all that we need to achieve. So the Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, yes, speaking directly to fathers, to men, to black men, to all men actually who want to learn and develop from our perspective. But this is also for the ladies that are attached to, connected to, who care about, and who love men, who love dynamic black men, who love dynamic black fathers, because your support is necessary for us to reach our full potential. So y'all grab a copy, definitely share this episode with others. And if you have any questions, comments, or whatnot, definitely shoot me an email, blackfathersnow@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, y'all visit blackfathersnow.com. Subscribe via iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, all the good stuff. Also, this is still sponsored by blackfamilyapparel.com. Visit Black Family Apparel and grab some dope apparel that celebrates the nuances of the black family. And y'all, until next time, be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.